Stop scrolling. We've got some breaking news. A senior official in the White House has revealed a shocking agenda behind President Biden's immigration policy. The report exposes the government's strategy to flood America with migrants in order to serve corporate interests and undermine American workers. The official, Katie Tobin, admitted that migration is being used as an economic tool and highlighted the administration's focus on legal pathways for economic opportunity, family reunification, and protection. This revelation contradicts the media's portrayal of migration as a humanitarian issue.
Joe Biden, thank you. Thank you for you. I like you people.
The famous writer and publisher Mark Twain has been accredited as a person stating that action speaks louder than words. And if this is true, then Mark Twain in no ways could have been a Democrat and definitely could not have been a liberal. Because to be a liberal, it means that you're open to change. Change that sounds great on paper, but in all practicality, it's not something you want to engage in or, affect you directly. Like, for example, a lot of liberals were for defunding the police, especially 2 years ago during the whole George Floyd protests. But if you ask them if they will want to reside in an area with little to no police presence, man, they'll get like Bishop Bullwinkle. And the same situation here, where people ask if they will house an illegal immigrant in their home. So let's see what they say.
What's up, guys? Aldo here with PragerU. Today I'm in West Hollywood, California to ask people what they think about illegal immigration and what we should do about housing migrants. It's going to be a good one. Let's go. So last year, 2.5 million migrants crossed the southern border illegally into the United States. Do they have a right to be here?
Of course, yeah.
Why?
Because they're human beings, just like the rest of us.
Yes, I think they do. What we have is people coming over here that we love and we want them to come through the border.
I think
a lot of times I always like to use the word love. Once again, I always keep saying this. It's not about love. It's about respect. We have to have respect for each other first because love takes time. Love is sacrifice. And as people, we're not going to sacrifice for something or someone we don't even know, and especially for something that we don't really understand. But we can have respect because we can understand and have that sympathy for another person as a human being. That's natural. So once again, it's not about love. It's about respect. And I think that's the main difference between liberals and conservatives. And yo, look at this guy right here. Looks like a gay Vanilla Ice.
illegal immigration is just people who don't have access trying to find freedom.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a chance to start new and start fresh and have an opportunity. I mean, think about our great-great-grandparents. They started somewhere, so why can't they?
I don't understand why we're not, in general, more embracing and accepting of others that want to come here.
I think America is the land of the home and the home of the brave. And it was based on immigrants. I feel like we should open our doors and help people to find their way.
Right now, the federal government.
Well, once again, we're asking a question about illegal immigration. They always try to do this with the wordplay. This gentleman on the street, I'm sure I'm not even sure he did. He specifically said illegal immigration. But of course, a lot of times they just hear one word and they just go with that. Because when something is legal, that means the process has not been taken place, has not been gone through correctly. And if it has not gone through correctly, then that means it's something more criminal and tend to lead to something more sinister. Now, not to say that a lot of these immigrants that are coming through the country illegally are criminals and are sinister, but due to the fact that the process has not been followed and the T's not been crossed and I's has been dotted, then we cannot assume that they are here for good purposes. Because once you make that assumption, you leave yourself wide open. Look at this guy; he probably don't mind being wide open, but anyway.
The government spends about $116 billion annually on services relating to this population. In California, it's around $23 billion, and a big portion of that goes to housing. What do you think we should do about the housing problem?
I mean, I think giving someone a house is just the bare bones of what we should do. There's a lot more that goes into creating sustainability for people.
I think there's a lot of unused buildings that people can kind of go into. I mean, there's hotels are not being used.
Eric Adams recently came up with an idea to house migrants in private citizens' homes. This would be a plan where he would put money back into their pockets, but he wants to open up private citizens' homes to these migrants. What do you think about this plan?
Well, if you need the money and you have an extra room, sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds all good, but when you look at the details to that plan, basically what it is that you have to have them for a certain amount of time. And even if you have in a situation with them where, things aren't working out, whether it's due to hygiene or whether they're not respecting your place, it's hard to get them even removed from your place of residence. And the money that you receive, I've read reports, there's been a delay for people to receive the money from the government agencies that say they're going to get paid or reimbursed for having these people housed in their homes. So if you're really desperate for the money, I guess you'll go ahead and do that. But most people don't want to go through that hassle because at the end of the day, they're put into the back seat in their own home.
I think that's like a really good idea.
I mean, yeah, why not? Like, give them a home, give them a bed, give them a roof, food, opportunity for work. I mean, sure.
People can sleep on my couch all the time, man.
I think it's great if they want to put somebody up, then why shouldn't they? I mean,
could you ever see yourself housing a migrant in your home?
I mean, totally. I mean, I don't necessarily have the space for it living in New York City, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Could you ever see yourself housing a migrant?
Not right now, not at this point, no.
Could you see yourself doing this sometime in the future?
Probably not, to be honest, because the future is going to be about, I don't know, about myself, I guess.
Well, listen to that. The future is going to be about myself. How selfish is that? But you want to virtue signal something positive, and you have a given nature that, yes, we should house illegal immigrants. But yet you're saying that you wouldn't do it, and you wouldn't do it in the future because you're about yourself. That sounds like a typical liberal. I'm going to say all the good things, but I'm going to do all the things for myself, and I don't hate him for that.
well, I think somebody living in my own home is a different situation than somebody living in my community.
Isn't America our community? Isn't America our home?
Yeah, but I think our own private quarters of our home is a sanctuary, is a private space compared to like where you and I are out now on a public street.
Would you be willing to house migrants yourself in your own home?
Yeah, why not? And I help out because I'm Mexican myself, so I come from immigrants. So I don't see why I wouldn't help my people.
Yeah. So we're actually asking because we have a form from the United States Alien Housing Project, and we're getting people to sponsor migrants and to invite them into their own homes. If you sign this, we can get a migrant into your home, and as early as next week. Would you want to sign this today?
No, because I live with my parents.
What a shocker. What a shocker right there. Look at her smiling. She's like, no, I can't do it. I can say it, but I can't do it. And listen to her. She lives with her parents. So she most likely doesn't have much of a responsibility. She probably don't have a lot of skin in the game, per se, when it comes to illegal immigration and taxes and things of that nature. But it's so easy for her to say, oh, yeah, we should house them and we should take care of them, spend money on them. And it's okay because she seems like a young lady. You know, she looks like she might be in her early 20s. And that's how it is a lot of times. When you go from childhood to college as a young adult, you tend to be liberal because you don't have a lot of skin in the game. I've been that way too. Then it got older and I was like, wait a minute. I own a home. I have a kid. Oh, shit. I'm going to be conservative.
Do you think you could ask your parents?
I don't know. I don't know how they'd go about this.
Would you be willing to sign this today and invite a migrant into your home?
No.
If you sign this, we could get a migrant into your house as early as next week. Would you be willing to sign this?
Well, hey, you put me on camera now, because I'm the guy tossing out 20s cash, and now you want me to sign things. Let's go.
Yeah, awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, that's great that he's signing, but let me tell you one thing. If I was an illegal immigrant, I'd be afraid to stay with this guy. I don't even understand what he just said. You better check his pockets, man. I mean, this man might be carrying something or you own something.
So they'll contact you, they'll set you up with a migrant, and they'll have them on your couch in as early as 1 week. This would be like for your actual home for you to take in a migrant yourself.
I can't do that. I literally live in a 2-bedroom with.
Trying to get him to take me in.
As long as it's not my home, I'm for it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's doable. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but that's pandering.
Do you think it's hypocritical for people to advocate for open borders and to advocate for the influx of illegal immigrants, but not be willing to put up their own homes?
In some ways, yes. I do think that's a little hypocritical.
It's definitely very hypocritical. I mean, that's why I want to say, I will not say something that I know I'm not going to do myself. You know, granted, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know we all lie to a degree, you know, especially when you're with a young lady or you want to score. But no, you be very, very honest as much as possible. But that's the thing with the whole ideology is that it's so fake. It has no walls. It has no foundation, but it just sounds good. But once again, you know, when men lie, women buy. And that's what a lot of politicians are doing nowadays. And a lot of these the liberal media is doing because they're trying to push this onto the society. And that's one of the reasons they want American society to be more of a matriarchy than a patriarchy. Because, I mean, just look on YouTube. You can have more channels like this where men are speaking out against this as opposed to women. You know, because, like I said, the whole narrative is a lie. You do not want to house illegal immigrants. Therefore, you should not want to allow illegal immigration into America. Simple as that.
In my personal opinion, and I might get in trouble for saying this in West Hollywood, but I think it's become problematic, especially in California right now with the cost of living being insane. I feel like it's being infringed on by illegals coming in by the droves.
At this point, you know, I don't know that I would be. I think it's more of a feeling safe issue rather than just a humanitarian issue, for me personally.
Yeah. I'd rather take care of our own homeless first, which there are many. I mean, just in this 10-block area, there's probably 30 regular homeless people I interact with. Let's help them first, and then help others who are trying to get here legally.
I mean, look behind you right now. I mean, nobody can afford to live here. I can barely afford to live here. But then illegal will come in here with no right to be here, and we just give them free everything.
Yeah, he's right. You got to take care of your own home first, clean up your own place first before you go outside to try to bring some more people in. Simple as that. I mean, and it's not to say that we can't allow immigrants into America. We can. We just have to make sure they go through the right process so they're not considered illegal.
America is our home. America is our community. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they came from. And I think the same can be said for all of Americans.
I agree with that too. I think the trust, not knowing, again, as you mentioned, where they came from, who they really are, and what are they here for. You know, I think that's a big thing is trust. Yeah.
Well,
you know, it's hard to build trust with someone who has, you know, very little to lose. And I always say this. My parents are immigrants, you know, but they came here legally in the 70s, you know, when America actually enforced the laws back then. You know, they had to get a sponsor, they had to get a job, a place to live, and eventually took a civics test in order to become a U.S. citizen. You know, basically, they work for it. So, you know, if we continue to make it easy for migrants to enter the country, you know, then we're basically devaluing what it means to be a U.S. citizen. Seriously. But let me know. Leave a comment down below. Do you support illegal immigration into America?
Bye.